Good afternoon. I'm Bob Vavra, Content Manager for Plant Engineering Magazine, representing Control Engineering and Plant Engineering Magazines and CFE Media, congratulating the 2016 System Integrators of the Year. We'd like to welcome our three winners for 2016. On my left, Tim Matheny, President of ECS Solutions. In the middle, Michael Gurney, CEO, Concept Systems. And on my far left, Dave Bleda, the Executive Vice President of Matrix Technologies. Gentlemen, first of all, congratulations and welcome here this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with an overview of the system integration industry. What's the big challenge you're facing right now, and how does your companies individually meet those challenges? Tim?
I think a big challenge that I see in our industry right now is really as companies are converging the idea of the control systems that we've all traditionally done for years with their information technology and marrying those systems together in a way that the control systems are delivering business value and measurable business value.
And how are you measuring business value, and how are your customers measuring business value?
A lot of it today is still through traditional, what we would call historians or data collection systems, using those numbers. But we're seeing more and more customers that are driving us to think in terms of dashboards that are displaying for them actively, this is how much money we're making on this process cell right now, this hour.
Very good. Mike, how about you guys?
So one of the big challenges that I see with system integration is just the pace that technology is evolving and staying on top of that. A lot of these emerging technologies aren't quite ready for prime time, and just vetting them out and knowing when is the right time to deploy them in an industrial environment so that they can perform on a reliable basis for our customers.
We've been writing a lot about industrial Internet of Things, and that seems to be one of the areas that everybody has heard about but isn't quite ready to roll out as to a sustainable solution just yet, but we're headed in that direction.
Absolutely, yeah. The data potential on the plant floor is just tremendous. Being able to get that data and use that data and deploy it across to managers so that they can use it and make operational decisions is phenomenal.
Dave, what are some of the things at Matrix Technologies that you're seeing in the industry right now?
Well, I agree with what Tim and Michael have to say. One of the challenges that we see as a company and part of our industry specifically is the recruiting and retaining of quality talent. The biggest thing that we offer as a company is our people and their knowledge of the technologies, the challenges that we face, our customers face. So getting the right people, keeping them interested, keeping them plugged into the company, that's the most important thing for us.
Let's talk about that for a second, because that's a real crucial issue. Finding, training, and retaining top talent in a market where everybody is looking for great manufacturing talent and the next generation of manufacturing talent. Tim, talk a little bit about how your company is going about addressing that issue and some of the ways that you're going out and recruiting and finding the next generation of system integrators.
ECS started probably 15 years ago, partnering with local educational institutions to work with their departments to define the curriculum that they were teaching to their students. We stayed engaged with them and actively worked to try to offer internships and opportunities to students from those local universities. We're a smaller side company. It's difficult for us to go and recruit all over the nation. But if we can find folks that have a tie to our hometown, Evansville, and recruit them and show them the exciting stuff that we do in manufacturing, they'll stick around because we can make it fun.
It's not about getting a job in this industry. It's really about building a career, and if you can show some of your people a career path, they're going to be interested.
Absolutely, Bob. This is neat stuff. How things are made, and we're blessed to have experienced guys who can mentor these young people and bring them along. And that's by far and away our best way to go about things.
Michael, we're all sports fans here, and I think talking about recruiting engineers and system integrators in the same way you recruit quarterbacks and power forwards. But how do you go out and make the case to young people that this is not the manufacturing world that their parents and grandparents knew? It's a brand new world out there. How do you go out and make that case?
Well, I think Tim has it absolutely right, and it's really about working with the universities and targeting the young folks. And really, when we go to them, what we're pitching is just the variety of what we do, the variety of the technology out there, the variety of the industries that you can integrate these technologies into. And for us, you know, it's get them on board, and it's part of our culture. Just the training and the mentoring that Tim mentioned there is key to keeping them.
Dave, you raised this point. I think one of the interesting things to look at is that the technology that's available parallels a lot of what young people today are really experiencing in the market. Very much hands-on, very much analytical thinking that you don't necessarily see a video game in that same way, but that's very much the technology and the kind of thought process that you want a young person to have.
Yeah, and one of the big challenges for us is as we've grown, it's harder and harder to find the most seasoned technical folks. So you really need to grow them. You really need to start at the university level. We have a very strong co-op program. We bring them on board. We have spent a lot of time and energy to invest in training programs for our people. The whole onboarding process is very important, that they become integrated as part of Matrix so that they can work with the folks with the more experience and really train them and learn our culture, learn the way we do projects, and then really learn the technology last is the way we approach it.
Very good. Let's talk about 2016. We're coming off of a very solid year in manufacturing, but there are challenges all over manufacturing right now, and in the oil and gas industry. Obviously, a lot of fluctuation going on for all of us. Dave, let's start with you. What's your outlook for 2016? What are some of the challenges, and what are some of the opportunities?
The challenge that we've seen in the last 6 to 12 months is that a lot of the projects have become smaller. Our customers are not investing in the huge projects they were shortly after the recession ended. So we're seeing a challenge on some of the profit margins, some of the competitive nature that we see out there in the marketplace. So we've really got to focus on customer service, making sure we deliver things on time, on budget, and making sure that we meet customer expectations so they want to come back to us the next time.
Very good. Michael, Concept Systems, what's your bright spot for 2016? What are the areas you think might be some bit of a challenge?
Well, you mentioned oil and gas, and that just has ramifications in a lot of different industries for us. It hits us pretty hard in the recycling industry, where oil and gas prices being down, virgin plastic prices are down, so recycling is not as attractive. So definitely a challenge on that front. Bright spot, you know, I think I anticipate continued steady growth, not rapid growth, and I think a lot of our manufacturing customers, they've learned some lessons in the past, and they've conserved cash, and they are being smart about how they spend their money. So really zeroing in on those projects that have a strong ROI. They're there, people see it.
They're taking one more step before they go in and invest in the projects. But we have seen some pretty decent investment willingness to invest in the right markets for the right situation.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'd say that's very much the case in the aerospace industry, where, you know, if you look at the existing fleet of aircraft out there with the new fuel efficient engines and the composites, you have a fleet of obsolete aircraft. So there's a market there to continue and build that industry.
Tim, how about you? Where do you see the bright spot for 2016?
Well, I think the bright spot for us is at ECS is as we continue to develop ourselves as more of a national batch process integrator instead of the roots that we came from, where we're a local integrator doing anything for anybody that's close by. And that focus is really driving a lot of change in our company. I always get worried in an election year. Historically, I've seen some hesitancy in people to actually cut those POs at the last minute. Maybe that will be true next year, maybe it won't. I just have to wait and see. But overall, we think it's going to be a very good year. Our overall pipeline is in excellent shape.
Yeah. Well, the success that each of your companies have enjoyed and that the system integration community has enjoyed over the last year has been very important. And for us at CFE Media, it's a tremendous honor to be recognizing all three of your companies for their achievement as System Integrators of the Year. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.